Hi, I'm Kit Lakin, co-founder of Lendly. Today, and over the next 10 minutes, we're going to take you through our Lendly Pay platform. We built this platform to give every employee in Australia access to the employee car tax benefit. So like I said, in the next 10 minutes, we're going to go through a lot. But stay with me, because I want every one of you to walk away knowing exactly how you qualify for the employee car tax benefit, and once you qualify, how much you can save. Our mission is simple here at Lendly. We want every employee in Australia to be able to own their car in the cheapest way possible, and we know our Lendly Pay platform and accessing the employee car tax benefit is how you do that. So the best way to show you if you qualify and how much you can save is to actually go through a Lendly Pay estimate. So let's go through that today. Let me show you Sally Saver. So Sally, she earns $75,000 a year, and she pays $17,500 in income tax, leaving her with a net salary of $4,500 every month. So here's the first qualifying hurdle. Do you draw a salary? Whether you're permanent part-time, you're drawing a salary and you're paying tax? That's your first qualification step to accessing the employee car tax benefit. So in this example, Sally earns $75,000, pays $17,500 in tax. Now, do you own a car? Any car? Do you want to own a car? So do I draw a salary, and do I have a car, or do I want to own a car? We've just knocked over two of the qualifying steps to access the employee car tax benefit. So in this example, Sally, she wants to go and buy a car. But she doesn't want to buy a brand new car. She wants to buy a second-hand car, and that's okay. She's allowed to buy a second-hand car and still access the employee car tax benefit. In fact, it might be a car that she already owns. You can access the employee car tax benefit with any car. So, in this example, Sally's going and buying a $25,000 car. Right? She's buying it from a dealership, so it includes GST. We can see there the GST tax credit is $2,200. So, when she buys this car on Lendly Pay, she doesn't pay that GST. In fact, she finances the ex-GST cost of the car, which is only $22,700. So that's the first savings that she gets on Lendly Pay. Now, she's buying a second-hand car. So, to work out how much she's going to save, because now we've worked out she's eligible. She draws a salary and she has a car. So think about your situation. Is that you? Great. So let's come with me to figure out how much you can now save via Lendly Pay and the employee car tax benefit. To understand the savings, let's work out how much she's going to spend. So what we do when we build a tailored Lendly Pay estimate for you, we work out exactly how you're going to use a car and the car that you want to understand how much it's going to cost to run that car over the period of time that you want to keep it. So in this instance, Sally wants to keep this car for 3 years or 36 months, where you can see the term there. Now Sally uses the car for 12,000 kilometers a year. So she wants to take this car from 28,500 kilometers, which is its start odometer, to 64,500, the end odometer at the end of 3 years. Now we lean on the manufacturer and Redbook to give us the data to help build budgets for Sally's car. So Sally creates running cost expense accounts for each of the running costs she wants to access car tax benefits on. The first one you can see there is fuel. So Sally, her fuel consumption is 6.1 liters per 100K on this car. Mazda told us so. But we also know that it takes regular unleaded, and the last 3 years, the average for regular unleaded is $1.55 a liter. So when we use that data, we can work out exactly how much Sally should allocate in her fuel budget for what she's going to spend in fuel on that car over the next 3 years. We do the same with all of the running costs: comprehensive insurance, registration renewals, servicing, tires, car wash. Yeah, even car wash. Sally doesn't want to wash the car herself, and that's okay. If she wants to spend the money, she can nominate an amount to put in there to cover that cost, and she gets to get a tax benefit on it. So once we work out all the expenses that Sally wants to allocate for and create the budgets that she wants for those expenses, now we know how much she's going to spend to run that car over the next 3 years, which is $16,500. So now we look at how much does that cost every month to Sally. This is the first benefit of Lendly Pay. So with Lendly Pay, you get to take all of your running costs and you get to smooth them out by your pay cycle. So instead of Sally having 1 month where she has to pay insurance, pay registration renewals, pay for fuel, and maybe even a service, and all of a sudden has to find $3,500 all in 1 month, she still has those expenses, and they're still the same expenses, but she's allocated $456 a month, every month, to ensure that when those expenses occur, she actually has the money in her Lindley Pay wallet to cover them. A real benefit when it comes to budgeting. But let's move in to the car tax benefit. What we're trying to figure out is the cheapest way to own a car. Now, our third qualifier. To qualify for employee car tax benefits, you have to draw a salary, you have to pay tax, and you have to have a car. Number 3 is the ATO says you have to put that car on a novated lease. Now, novated lease sounds like a really complicated and unsexy word, because it is, but really, it's just another car loan. So when we go and we put it on a 3-year lease, in this example for Sally, it costs $535 a month. Then, Sally wants to bring her car and her running costs to the Lindley Pay platform. So to do that, she has to pay us a license fee of $35 a month. But when she does that, and she pays $570 a month for the novated lease and the license fee, she now has access to the employee car tax benefit. Access to that benefit is going to save her $235 a month, which means the actual cost to her for the car is only $334 a month. So if you add that to the running cost that she's budgeted for and that she wants to pay monthly, that gets her total cost per month that she's going to pay out of her take-home pay of $791. Now, tax benefits, we've just seen them. That's great. What does that look like over a year? And how does that compare to another option I have? So to do that, we run through a comparison here. Let's look at what this looks like in payroll. So Sally earns $75,000 a year. She pays $17,500 in tax. Then she has to go and pay for a car. So this is how a lot of you would have your car set up right now. You go, you earn your money, you pay tax, and you use your after-tax income, what hits your bank account, to go and pay for your vehicle and its running costs. Now, all Sally's doing is she's now using the Lindley Pay platform to access pre-tax salary to pay for those same expenses she's always had. So, when she does that in this situation, she gets to pay $7,500 of her vehicle and its running costs using pre-tax salary. On that $7,500, she also saves the GST. So think about GST in your fuel, your servicing, your tires. Sally doesn't pay that on the amount she's salary sacrificing. And so the combination of that salary sacrifice and that GST savings is going to save her $3,500 every year in tax benefits, which is giving her a total tax savings of $12,500, $12,700 over 3 years. She's unlocking more of her salary, all via the Lindley Pay platform, and she's giving herself an effective pay rise of over $4,000. So instead of paying $1,083 a month for her car, she only pays $791. But let's roll the clock forward and go to the end of the lease. At the end of 3 years, we want Sally to make as much money as possible when she sells the car. And we give her a window into what that car might be worth at the end via our agreement with Redbook Future Value, where we provide that information back to Sally. So Sally's car, projected by Redbook, says it could be worth $17,000. Now, at the end of a novated lease, you have what's called a residual value. Again, just like novated lease, it sounds more technical than it is. It's just another name for a balloon. And so what we're trying to do is make sure that we put Sally in the best position possible to have a profit at the end of her lease. At the end, when you have a profit, as you can see here, Sally's potential profit of $5,154, even though she's used pre-tax salary to pay down the car and build equity in the vehicle, she doesn't pay any tax on the money she makes when she sells it. So it's okay to have a balloon at the end. A lot of people feel like they want to do a car loan or they want to pay cash because they don't want to owe money at the end. But if I gave you an example where the ATO is going to let you access employee car tax benefits all because there's also a balloon at the end, well, it's worth having the balloon. And let me show you why. I can show you a little mathematical equation that we do that will tell you why we are happy to have a balloon on our vehicle. So let's bring this up, right? Let's look at owning the car outright. Why? Well, you'll never actually want to own your cars outright again once you use them on Lindley Pay. But if we can look at what it costs for Sally to own the car outright over the term, we can compare this to her other options, whether it be redrawing from a home loan, paying cash, or getting a car loan. So let's go back to the net lease cost. That net lease cost is what she's paying every month for the car, which is $334.50. Multiply that by 36 months, and that gives you what she's paid over the 3 years for that vehicle. Now, she doesn't own it yet. So let's go back to that balloon, right? She's paid $12,000 over the lease term, and now to own the car, she just has to pay the balloon, which is $11,705. Once she's paid those, she now owns the car outright. So it's cost her $23,747 to own the car outright. Does anyone remember what she paid for the car originally? That's right, $24,900. So not only did she not have to fork over $25,000 at the start, and she didn't have to redraw off her home loan and pay interest on it over the period, and she didn't have to go get a car loan and pay interest on that. But she's found a way that she can own and run her car where not only do the tax benefits that she's accessing outweigh the interest on the loan, in fact, they go and give her an extra $1,200 benefit. So unless she could find a bank that's going to give her $1,200 to take out a $25,000 loan and not charge her any interest over the 3 years, that's why this is the cheapest way to own a car. So again, I'm Kit from Lindley, and we're so excited that you spent the last 11 minutes with us talking through the tax benefits and how you can access them. We're looking forward to building a tailored Lindley Pay estimate just for you. Go to our website, get started.